The Rampas Inhumanas were quiet today, but there was drama on this stage. Stage 14 of the Vuelta a España, from Don Benito to Pico Villuercas. It has a 3-kilometer 13% climb smack bang in the middle, not really surrounded by too many other long climbs, then a 40 to 45 kilometer rolling valley before the 14.5k 7% mountaintop finish. Once again, none of the main GC teams were interested in controlling a break, so we had one with Champoussin and Nicolas Prudhomme, as Citroën, one of the only teams with multiple riders. Romain Bardet, Jay Vine, Jens Kuckelera, Jesús Herrada, Dani Navarro, former Vuelta a España stage winner, and Tom Pidcock, actually looking quite sprightly today in this breakaway. Intermarché, they went to the front just to show the jersey, I guess, about 10 minutes behind this breakaway. And it was funny to see Ryan Gibbons contesting the KOM sprint against Romain Bardet. Maybe he was just trolling him, I'm not sure. But Bardet would actually take the KOM jersey off Caruso in this stage. But here is that climb. It's concreted over, looks terrible. You can see it zigzagging up the mountain, and it has like really steep gradients in the hairpins. But no one attacked in the break, because why would you? If you're one of the better climbers, well, you're going to drop the likes of Seb Van Mark and Demar and co on the mountaintop finish to come. Why would you want to do a 40-45k solo in the rolling valley before that climb just because you can drop them here when you can use them to pace in that valley? And that same logic applied to the peloton behind. Now Movistar a little bit depleted with the, Valverde not being here, who likes the steep stuff. For Bahrain Victorious, this isn't really the place for Jack Haig to probably gain time either. So there was inaction in the GC group as well, because if you do try something here, then I guess you're committing to another hour and a half, 2 hours of work with your team. But once they got into that valley, Navarro, Matthew Holmes, who actually did well in the Santos Tour Down Under last year, and Nicolas Prudhomme attacked the breakaway because these guys are worried about Jay Vine, Romain Bardet, Jesús Herrada, and Tom Pidcock, all guys who are better climbers on paper than they are, until Jay Vine, in one of these quick descents, and unfortunately they cut this a bit short so I can't show you just beforehand, but there's a slight left-hand bend, and he seemed to get distracted and start to go a little bit straight through the bend, came too close and nudged into the car and crashed heavily at high speed, sliding down this road. He's lucky the car didn't run over him or the motorbike. And at this point, I was just thinking, I hope he's okay. It's pretty unlikely that he's even going to continue this race after a crash so heavy. We didn't know what was going on. The cameras cut away from him and we didn't hear anything. Meanwhile, Matthew Holmes had like 2 punctures and that counted him out for the stage. Seb Van Mark joined these guys before Dani Navarro, on one of these quick narrow descents, misjudged the corner badly, took him out, earned himself the combativity prize for the day. That's not a joke, by the way. And Nicolas Prudhomme was able to go solo. Meanwhile, we heard on the radio that apparently Vine was back on his bike, which was good news, but we're probably thinking, oh, he's out for the stage. Next thing we see, he's back in the group of Bardet and Tom Pidcock and Jesús Herrada, the favourites for this stage. They're all finessing at the base of this climb, with Prudhomme about 40 seconds ahead of them, his jersey in absolute tatters. He attacks Romain Bardet, who's furious with Jesús Herrada for pretending that he was on his limit. He's got Pidcock on his wheel. Jay Vine, Pidcock had attacked, and Champoussin's marking everyone because his teammate Prudhomme's up the road, although he's got the earpiece out, so maybe this wasn't exactly the plan. And despite his 48-second gap, Romain Bardet ate into that very quickly, went past Zeitz, then Prudhomme straight away. He's gapped Jesús Herrada and Jay Vine, and with 4.5Ks to go, this one was a wrap. He gets very fast in a section closer to the finish, which would be important for the GC group later, and despite Jesús Herrada and Vine actually working pretty well together to try and bring back Romain Bardet, that gap kept going up to about 53 seconds. They only brought back a little bit. So Bardet played the climb pretty well, and this would be DSM's 3rd stage win of this year's Vuelta a España. Vine tried to attack Herrada on the last little steep pinch of this climb, but wasn't able to get rid of him, and Herrada a little bit punchier at the finish. Bardet's first World Tour level win in over 4 years, the French rider who transferred to DSM from Citroën. At about 40 seconds behind, Jesús Herrada beat Jay Vine in the sprint for second. But what a stage finish this was. I mean, Romain Bardet coming good. He looked good in Vuelta a Burgos, won a stage there, but this is obviously much more prestigious here. Even though he had a crash earlier in the Vuelta, this certainly put a smile on his face. But for Jay Vine, announced the contract extension with Alpecin-Fenix, I think 2 days ago. He's had a fall that would maybe DNF some riders, and he gets back to the breakaway he'd been in and fights for the stage podium. I think his best ever World Tour stage result, as well as Jesús Herrada, the vet on Cofidis, looking still at a really good level. It was actually Herrada's teammates on Cofidis were the ones actually taking it up in the GC group behind. They're not at 900 meters to go because they're like 12 minutes behind. They were trying to drop odd Christian Eiking in the red jersey because he's about 30 seconds ahead of Gobert Matériaux, who's in second wheel. Louis Meintjes marked this move, which a little bit curious, not really helping odd Christian Eiking in any way, but maybe he's riding for his own GC. Marc Padun marked it and then was like, why am I here? / got dropped. And luckily for odd Christian Eiking, Jumbo-Visma kept up a decent pace in the last 10 to 12 minutes of this climb. And I want to point out why there wasn't too much action on this climb. You look at Movistar right here, they got 2 riders, Lopez and Enric Mas. They had paced a little bit with Rojas, but with Jumbo-Visma having so many domestiques at this point and setting a reasonable pace, if you attack on a climb like this where a draft is still important so far from the finish, it's unlikely you're going to gain time, and it's actually risking you losing time, which is what happened to Adam Yates on stage 9 the other day. And unfortunately for Gobert Matériaux and Cofidis, they were brought back by Jumbo-Visma, and then Miguel Angel Lopez tried a late attack, and I don't mind the tactics from both Movistar and Jumbo-Visma. Jumbo-Visma played this stage and this climb absolutely textbook perfectly, but for Miguel Angel Lopez, it's pretty low risk. You attack that late. If you get caught, you'll probably slot on. You won't lose any time, and maybe the domestiques for Jumbo-Visma aren't so strong, and you can gain maybe 8 to 12 seconds. And behind, you have Enric Mas, who's able to sit in the draft of Primoz Roglic. But from Jumbo-Visma's perspective, they had domestiques at the ready. This is why it's almost more important to pace the earlier climbs to rid Jumbo of domestiques before attacking. And so Kuss and Jumbo-Visma did a very good job of pacing steadily, keeping that gap stable, and then Roglic did his trademark burst across to Lopez, who would only gain about 4 seconds on Roglic, which is pretty immaterial given the gap Roglic has and his TT to come. So a bit of a stalemate from a GC perspective, a roller coaster of emotions for Jay Vine, and a great stage result for Romain Bardet, who wins the stage ahead of Herrada, Vine, Pidcock a nice result, 4th, Champuzan, Holmes, Zeitz, Geniet, Prudhomme, and Jan Tratnik. Tomorrow's stage has a lot of long, steady gradient climbs during the middle third of the stage, but then the final climb's only 8Ks, about 4%. But I hope you enjoyed the recap. Last stage tomorrow before the second rest day on Monday. Like the video down below if you've been enjoying these Vuelta recaps or the Lanterne Rouge Cycling podcast. You can go and check that out, as well as my Deutschland Dyna Tour recaps on this channel as well. Been a busy week so far. Looking forward to the rest day. Ciao.